proof, it produces it. Faith doesn't wait for a way, it creates one. You see, we all stand before something that feels immovable. An obstacle, a wound, a dream that seems buried too deep to ever rise again. But that mountain you're looking at is not there to stop you. It's there to reveal what's inside you. The mountain exposes whether you will bow to fear or rise in faith. You may not have the strength to move it with your hands, but if you can believe, if you can trust, if you can stand, your faith will do the heavy lifting that your effort cannot. Faith doesn't deny the mountain exists. It just refuses to let the mountain have the final word. Faith says, I may be surrounded by problems, but I'm also surrounded by promises. Faith says, it doesn't look good, but I know God is still good. Faith says, I don't see the door, but I know the one who builds them. When you operate from that place, you stop measuring your future by what's visible and start walking according to what's possible. You've got to learn to talk to your mountain, not about it. Every time you speak defeat, you strengthen the mountain. Every time you speak faith, you weaken it. Don't tell your mountain how big it is. Tell your mountain how big your God is. When you start declaring hope over fear, peace over panic, purpose over pain, you start releasing power into the atmosphere. The invisible starts rearranging itself to match the conviction of your heart. Some of you are standing at the base of your mountain right now, trembling, doubting, wondering if you'll ever make it through. But I came to tell you, this is not the place where your story ends. This is where it shifts. Faith doesn't always remove the mountain overnight, but it will give you the strength to climb it, the endurance to outlast it, and the perspective to see why it was there in the first place. You've cried long enough. You've questioned long enough. Now it's time to believe again. Because faith doesn't need perfect conditions. It just needs a willing heart. The same faith that turned darkness into light, the same faith that opened seas and shut the mouths of lions is alive in you right now. If you can hold on when everything around you says let go, you'll discover that mountains don't just move, they crumble under the weight of unwavering belief. Faith isn't loud, but it's powerful. It doesn't shout for attention, but it shakes the impossible. It's that whisper that says, keep going. It's that fire that refuses to die out, even in the storm. And when the dust settles, when the mountain finally moves, you'll realize it wasn't your strength, it wasn't your plan, it was your faith that made a way where there was none. Faith is the invisible force that separates the possible from the impossible. It is not an emotion, not a fleeting feeling, but a conviction that stands firm even when everything around you is shaking. Faith does not require the evidence to appear before it believes. Faith believes so deeply that it creates the evidence. When life throws storms your way, when the walls close in, when the dream seems dead and the light feels distant, faith whispers, keep going. It is the inner voice that refuses to surrender to fear. It is the fire that still burns when the rain falls hardest. Faith doesn't deny the pain. It doesn't ignore the challenge, but it looks at the situation and declares, this is not how my story ends. When you have faith, you stop allowing the size of the mountain to determine the size of your belief. You begin to understand that obstacles are not signals to quit, but invitations to grow stronger. The mountain that stands before you is not blocking your path, it is building your perseverance. Faith teaches you to see through a divine lens, to recognize that what looks like a setback is often a setup for your breakthrough. When you operate in faith, you no longer depend on what's visible. You learn to trust in what's unseen, because you know that the unseen hand of God is more powerful than anything you can touch or understand. Faith will stretch you. It will take you to places where your logic cannot go, where your plans will fail, and your strength will not be enough. But that's where faith becomes alive. It's in those moments of weakness when you've done all you can and there's nothing left but belief that faith reveals its true power. Faith is not about control. It's about surrender. It's about saying, even if I don't see it, I still trust. It's about walking when you can't see the path, speaking life when everything looks dead, and holding on to hope when everyone else has let go. Faith does not move mountains because of how big your belief is. It moves mountains because of how big your God is. When you align your heart with His purpose, mountains have no choice but to move. Every word you speak in faith carries weight in the spiritual realm. Every step you take in faith sends a signal to heaven that you are ready for change. You may not see the mountain crumble all at once, but piece by piece, the impossible begins to shift. Doors open, hearts heal, strength returns, and clarity replaces confusion. There will be moments when fear tries to paralyze you, when the mountain seems too heavy, too high, too hard to move. But that's when faith becomes your weapon. Faith silences fear. Faith stands tall when everything around it is falling apart. Faith says, I will not be moved. It doesn't mean you won't feel the pressure. It means you won't let the pressure define you. Because when your faith is strong, even the highest mountain must bow before your belief. There will come a time when everything you've built seems to be crumbling before your eyes, when the prayers you've whispered feel like they've gone unheard, and the waiting begins to feel endless. That's the moment when faith must rise. Faith doesn't live in comfort. It thrives in the unknown. It is forged in the fire of trials, refined in the silence of waiting, and strengthened in the face of resistance. You don't discover the power of faith when everything is easy. You discover it when everything seems impossible. When you've reached the end of your own strength, faith steps in and carries you further than your feet could ever take you. Faith has never required sight to operate. It moves in the dark and walks through the storm with its eyes fixed not on what is, but on what can be. Faith doesn't deny reality, but it refuses to be limited by it. When you have faith, you stop asking, how will this happen? And start declaring, it will happen. You shift from questioning to trusting, from worrying to worshiping, from doubting to declaring. Because faith isn't waiting for the evidence to appear. It's acting like it's already done. The world says, I'll believe it when I see it, but faith says, I'll see it because I believe it. The mountains in your life are not meant to intimidate you, but to activate your faith. You cannot have mountain-moving power without mountain-facing challenges. Every problem that stands before you is an opportunity for faith to prove itself. The reason the mountain seems so big is because your destiny is even greater. The mountain is there to reveal the strength that was already within you. It's not there to stop you. It's there to shape you. When you face your mountain with faith, you stop running from the challenge and start walking toward your breakthrough. Faith will teach you to speak differently. It will change the language of your life. Instead of saying, I can't, faith says, I will. Instead of saying, it's too late, faith says, it's right on time. Instead of saying, I'm not enough, faith says, with God, I am more than enough. When you learn to align your words with your faith, your circumstances begin to respond to your conviction. Because words born out of faith have power. They can create, they can heal, they can transform. Every time you speak in faith, you are building a bridge between what is and what can be. Faith is not loud, but it is unshakable. It may not always shout, but it never wavers. It's the quiet strength that stands when everything else falls apart. It's the inner peace that whispers, keep walking, when the world tells you to give up. The power of faith doesn't come from seeing the mountain move instantly. It comes from believing that it will, no matter how long it takes. Because faith knows that delay is not denial, and every step you take in belief brings the impossible one step closer to becoming real. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of it. It is the courage to take the first step when you don't know where your foot will land. Faith is what keeps you standing when the ground beneath you starts shaking. It is what allows you to smile while tears are still running down your face. It doesn't wait for everything to make sense. It acts on the belief that purpose exists even in confusion. The beauty of faith is that it sees victory long before the battle is won. It declares light even when surrounded by darkness. It knows that even when everything appears to be falling apart, something greater is being built behind the scenes. Faith will test your patience. It will push you to the edge of surrender. It will strip away your comfort so that you can discover what you truly believe. When you pray for faith, you are not asking for easy days. You are asking for strength to face hard ones. You are asking for endurance to stand when others fall. You are asking for a heart that keeps trusting when everything seems uncertain. Faith grows in the soil of struggle, watered by tears and strengthened by perseverance. Every unanswered prayer, every delayed promise, every season of silence is shaping a deeper belief inside you. Faith is not proven on the mountaintop. It's proven in the valley, where the shadows linger and the answers seem far away. There will be times when the mountain doesn't move right away. You will speak in faith, you will stand, you will believe, and still the situation won't shift as quickly as you hoped. That doesn't mean your faith is weak. It means your roots are growing deeper. Faith is not about getting what you want when you want it. It's about trusting that what is coming is greater than what you imagined. Sometimes the mountain doesn't move because it's not meant to. Sometimes the mountain is the training ground. Wow! Here your strength is built. The climb refines you. The struggle matures you. And the waiting purifies you. Faith doesn't always bring instant change, but it always brings inner transformation. You cannot grow faith without facing resistance. Just like muscles need weight to grow stronger, faith needs pressure to expand. Every disappointment is a chance to trust deeper. Every closed door is an invitation to believe that something better is being prepared. Every delay is a divine pause that protects you from stepping into something before you're ready. Faith teaches you that timing is sacred and that what's meant for you cannot miss you. The waiting season is not a wasted one. It's where endurance is born, where character is shaped, and where your faith begins to speak louder than your circumstances. Faith will make you walk into rooms you don't feel qualified to enter. It will make you speak words that sound too bold to be your own. It will make you dream dreams that scare you because they're bigger than your abilities. Faith doesn't ask if you're ready. It prepares you as you go. When you move with faith, you stop living by explanations and start living by expectation. You stop asking why and start saying, what next? Faith is not static. It's alive, moving, breathing, guiding. It pulls you toward destiny when comfort wants to hold you still. It will stretch you beyond the limits of what you thought possible, because it knows there is more inside you than what you can see. Faith never promises an easy road, but it guarantees a meaningful one. It will lead you through fire and storms, but it will also reveal your strength and purpose along the way. Faith will make you confront your fears, forgive your enemies, and believe again after being broken. It will teach you that loss is not the end, and that pain can become a seed for growth. It will show you that what looked good It's like an ending is often the beginning of something far greater. Because faith doesn't just move mountains, it transforms the climber. It takes you from fear to freedom, from doubt to destiny, from size to